started in Shavasana, but just have your belt close by, and also have your block or whatever you place under your back close by as well. We'll be using those. We'll be on the floor for the first 4 poses on our back, I should say. So come into Shavasana. Just relax. So just remember with Shavasana, to be as comfortable as possible, the best way is to have the legs out wide, so either side of the mat. Drop the toes away, arms away from the body, palms facing up. Bring the shoulder blades together, chin towards the chest. You need something behind the head so that we get that stretch through the cervical spine. Just make sure that you put a block. Sometimes a block is really nice just behind the head, and that'll help you bring the chin towards the chest. And so just relaxing in this pose, just to get yourself in the frame of mind for a nice deep stretch today. So we're going to have some nice deep stretches. So you should know by now, this is where we start connecting to the breath. So just allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself just to be aware of the breath and just the breath only. And then this morning, we're just going to work on deep breathing. So just the pranayama deep breathing, which is through the nose. So if you just start that now, both nostrils were going through deep. So inhale, but nice and slow. So these breaths should be as slow as you can be. Inhale and exhale. The inhale should be really, really deep. So your lungs are full before you start exhaling. So if you continue through with this process for the next probably minute and a half. So just allow yourself, just you and the breath. That's it. Just you and the breath. Nothing else. Start deepening that breath. So your lungs are going to start allowing more air in. So just work with that. Still got over a minute to go. So I want you to feel your progress, feel how the lungs are. So that chest should be really on that inhale. So they talk about mindfulness. That's, you know, the new big thing, mindfulness. Well, this here is mindfulness. So we're just mindful of how the breath is affecting us positively. And we're just aware of one thing only, and that's the breath. So now just move into Ujjayi breath. So just making that noise in the back of your throat on the inhale and the exhale. That restriction of the throat. Last 20 seconds, so get nice and deep on the inhale. And then just have a really long, slow exhale. And then we're just going to reach over and grab our block or whatever we place under our back and place it under there. Move into supported bridge. I'm going to go nice and high this morning to get a good stretch. So just make sure that you get yourself comfortable and go as high as you feel you need today. Just allowing that chin to come to the chest, shoulder blades together, and the hips are going to be as high as you need them to go. Okay, so there's no height that you need to go. It's just how you feel today. Legs out straight if your back feels okay. If you've got that constriction of the lower back, just bend the knees up and then just slowly work them to straighten out. And just get that stretch through this lower back. It's a really, really nice way to start a yoga session, is to have a nice, easy, supported back bend. So we're 3 minutes in this pose. I think we're already about a minute in. Yeah, we're just a minute in. And it's really important if you've had a busy weekend, running around, doing stuff like we're back into the normal world again, is to allow yourself to be in this position, this back bend, to release the emotion, to release the tension in the body. This is where you release it, is right here. Just continue in this position. You've got another 40 seconds. So the block should be placed just under your tailbone, but you can move it around to where it suits you. You don't have to have it in that spot. That's just a guide. So if you feel like you need to move it into a position which is more comfortable, if you've got tension in the lower back, it is going to feel a bit uncomfortable. So this is just, remember, this is where the emotion starts building up, is here. So if you've had a big week or a big weekend or a big few days, whatever it is, that's where the tension seems to build. So when you're ready, just bend the knees up, lift and just release whatever's underneath you and just lay flat on your back. So this is when the tension goes. As soon as you're on your back, you should feel that release of tension. And we're blocking the blood flow through. So if you've got a tense area and you block the blood flow, your body's reacting to that. If you allow your mind to connect to that, it becomes an issue. If you just connect to the breath, you'll start releasing slowly. Beautiful. So when you're ready, just reach over and grab a strap or a belt or whatever you've got there. Place it around the right foot. We're just going to be a minute either side, so coming out wide. I'll just get that ready. So we're going to come out wide first. So grab the strap up high and drop the leg away. Now that left hip is going to come up. Once the leg stops dropping, push that hip back, and that's where your leg should be, your right leg. Push the heel away, bring the toes towards the shins. Shoulder blades together, chin to the chest. So we're a minute in this pose. This is just starting to warm up the hamstrings. And when you're ready, slowly, slowly come up. Grab the strap with the left hand, as close to the foot as you feel you can go, and then drop the right leg over the top, and you'll feel that in the hamstring. Push the heel away, toe towards the shin, toes towards the shins, and try and straighten the shoulder blades. So bring the shoulder blades on the floor, chin towards the chest. And that breath that we started out with is the breath that we need to be in. And slowly work your way back up. So now we're going to come into hammock pose. So keep the same leg. And if you can't wrap the strap around the back of your head like I'm doing now and work down, if you can't do that or you feel uncomfortable doing that, just grab the strap with both hands. That's the best way because it'll keep the tension. We want that tension to run from the back of the knee down into the hip. And then we want to switch on the Achilles and calf by pushing the heel upwards and the toes towards the shins. So dorsiflexion of the foot. So whichever one you're in, this is a longer hold, so we're here for 3 minutes. And just allow yourself to stretch through this area. You're really going to give the hamstrings a good stretch. And again, nothing to do other than focus on the breath. And if you want to test how the breath works, just find the most tense, tight spot that you're feeling in this pose. And then just go into a little bit deeper, so feel a little bit more tension. So for example, just push that heel away, toes towards the shins. And when you feel that tight spot, just turn to the breath straight away. Just focus on the breath and nothing else. And just feel that tight spot move. It'll move into a different place. It's not magic, it's just breath. And the deeper the breath, the deeper the inhale, the longer and slower the exhale, the more that tension will move around the body. And then slowly start diluting and releasing. you get any, or if you've got tight hamstrings, just remember if you need the knee bent, make sure you've got it bent, but always work towards straightening the knee. Don't think that that's the only place you can go is the bent knee, because we're meant to straighten our leg in this. So eventually you'll get it straight. Just got to be patient. When you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. So just switch legs. Release the strap around the head, from around the head if you've got it there. I'm going to come outwards first with you can with the left hand on the strap and just drop the left leg out. Remember, let it go as far as it can go. And you'll feel that right hip lift up. Once the right hip lifts up, push the right hip back down onto the floor. Straighten that right leg, bring the shoulder blades onto the floor. That left leg will come up to where it should be. And then push the left heel away, left toes towards the shins, and pull on the strap. So making sure that the hips are on the floor, shoulder blades are on the floor. Doesn't matter how high the left leg is up, really need to have that in place. Stability, and you'll get into the stretch that you need to get into. Because if you allow the leg to come down and the right up, you start stretching the right glute. And so you don't want the glute switched on at all on the right hand side. You want to focus all the energy onto this left hamstring. Last couple of seconds, come down as deep as you can go. Push the heel away and then come up. Come across the body. Grab the strap with the right hand this time. Come across, you'll feel that change in stretch. You'll feel the tension get into the hamstrings and then deep into the glutes, and then the hamstrings. And you're also stretching the hip, the left hip. So these poses are slow and deliberate, and yeah, they hurt. You might feel a tingling sensation. I'm feeling that in my foot. And when I feel that, I just push the heel further away, bring the toes close to the shin. And it seems to go away. Slowly come up. Then we move into hammock. So we've got 3 minutes to go on the left side. So we move into hammock. And just relaxing in this pose. So get yourself where you need to feel that tension. Beautiful. Again, continually work on the breath, focus on the breath, and every now and again, just change position if you can. Push that foot further away so that heel higher. toes coming down towards the shins. If your knee's bent, just work on straightening the knee first. So go back to the breath, work with the breath. So we've got about 1.5 minutes to go on this side. So the last 30 seconds, so just work on deepening that breath, pushing that left heel away if you can. If your knee's bent, work on straightening the leg. If your leg's straight, push the heel away, toes towards the shin. And when you're ready, release. So just release the strap. Bring that left leg down. Just allow the blood to flow through. We're going to stay on our backs for another pose, but just allow, feel that blood. You'll feel that sensation running through the leg, and it feels really, really good. And your legs should feel lighter, a lot lighter. So when you're ready, in your time, you're going to come into happy baby. So it's a bit of a challenge after this, the last pose that we've done. But get yourself set in happy baby the way you need to. You might need to grab the big toes, or you might grab inside of the feet, but try and grab the outside if you can. Knees either side of the rib cage. And just work into this position. So now we've got the blood pumping through the hamstrings. So just get those hips moving now. Get those hips out wide. So we've released the tension in the lower back first before we pulled on the hamstrings. So now we've got the hamstrings nice and light. We work on the hip flexors. And so all that area should be nice and released in the next, once we finish this pose. So the idea of this pose is to lengthen through the spine, as I've said before. So the back of the head on the floor, chin towards the chest, shoulders on the floor, shoulder blades on the floor, and tailbone on the floor. But until then, just work till you can get your shoulder blades on the floor, chin on the floor. Chin on chest. Chin on chest, sorry, not the floor. And pull the knees down as much as you can towards the floor. And then slowly you work your tailbone down to the floor. So that's the last part of the pose. So remember just the breath, the last minute now. So sometimes it can get a little bit uncomfortable. Find that comfortable spot, find the stretch, and then the stillness in that last minute. Work with the breath. Last 30 seconds now. The breath's really important, those last few breaths. You'll get you as deep as you can get into the pose. And when you're ready, release. Slowly, slowly release. Bring those legs straight out. Really good minute and a half in Shavasana now. All that blocking of the hips and the stretching of the hamstrings, we really need to settle that area down before we go any deeper. So when you're ready, bring the knees into the chest. And just have a squeeze. There, you can roll seconds or so in this pose. Just to get comfortable and reset those hips. So pull in a little bit tighter now. And then roll up to a seated position. This is where you're going to need your strap. And also you might need a block or a cushion or something, and I'll show you why in a second. So we're going to come into, we're going to come into Janu Shavasana, which is head to knee pose. So we want our left leg straight out and our right foot up against the left thigh. Now where your block comes in play is here. So if your left knee is up like this, try and just push the block, right knee, sorry, or push the block underneath or even a bolster so that it's coming down onto something. Okay? That means you're going to get a better stretch here if you do that. If your knee comes down towards the floor, you don't really have to worry about that. But have the left leg straight. Remember the strap, we want to use the strap. So if you're leaning forward like this, you're not getting anything in the pose, okay? If you can grab around your foot and interlace your fingers, you're going to get a really good stretch. If you haven't got a strap or anything on you, you're going to have to do that anyway. But with a strap, just place it around the bottom of the foot. And then we reach down as much as we can go down the strap. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up, and bring stomach to thighs, okay? So once you've got the stomach on the thigh, then you come down a little bit deeper. Then you look at the knee, bring head to knee. And if you can reach around, then you grab around. Okay, so just work through that process. Just remember it's head to knee, Janu Shirasana, head to knee pose. It's a really deep stretch, but it's a really important stretch for us all because we're lengthening through the spine as well as opening through the hips, or we're actually releasing tension through the hips the way the pelvis is tilting. That's why we want to aim for stomach on thighs. You could even put a cushion or a block between the thigh and the stomach if you're having problems in that area. And that'll teach your body to start coming down even deeper. It's just 2 minutes either side on this one. And if you can reach around your foot and you've got your foot, drop the elbows down to the sides of the shins. Then you look at your knee and lift the heel up. Okay, but just work towards. So if you haven't got your stomach on the thigh, that's what you want to work towards, a stomach on the thigh. If you've got your stomach on the thigh, then work head down to knee. If your head comes close to your knee, that's when you can start wrapping your hand around the bottom of the foot. Dropping the elbows down. Good. Everyone's in a really good position there. That's good. So the last 20 seconds, so just pull a little bit harder, come a little bit closer. So wherever you are, just a little bit closer. And slowly, slowly coming up. Releasing and moving to the other side. Once you get really deep into this pose, it actually takes your breath away. It's one of those poses that works with you, you got to work your breath a lot to get deep into the pose. So wherever you are, just really focus on the breath. That'll get you deeper into it. So right leg out straight. Remember to set that left leg up. You might need to put something under the knee. If you don't, that's okay. Strap around the bottom of the foot. Lengthen through the spine first. So you pull on the strap, lengthen, shoulder blades together, chin away from the chest, and slowly come down. You're going to feel that stretch at the sides of the body as you bring the stomach to the thighs. Once the stomach is on the thighs, start tucking the chin under. So we're stretching through the entire back. Once you get that stomach on the thighs, you'll stretch through the entire back. You'll lengthen that spine, as well as lengthening through the limbs, so lengthening through the leg, through the hips. This is just a pure space giver. Gives us space back that we need. And work with that breath. The breath is really important in every pose in yoga, as I keep saying. But when you're trying to progress into a deep stretching pose like this, it's even more important. Because the difference between getting that stomach to the thigh or that chin to the chest so you can bring the head to the knee or grabbing around the bottom of the foot is the breath. That's the difference. The last 45 seconds. These poses are really important in yoga. They're probably something that should be done in every class, but because we like a bit of variety, they're not done in every class. If you go to classes in India, I don't think I've ever done a class in India where Janu Shirasana and Paschimottanasana weren't involved, holding long periods of time, because they're really important to stretch that spine, lengthen the muscles. Ready, slowly come up, come into Shavasana, so straight into Shavasana. Allow yourself that time to recover from the deep stretch. You'll feel it as soon as you get in Shavasana, you'll feel that blood rush as normal, but you feel lighter. You always feel lighter after that pose. And that lower back should feel really nice now. And when you're ready, just bend the knees up and have the soles of the feet on the floor. Bring the heels up towards the buttocks and just drop the knees to come into windshield wipers. Just right, left, left, right. Just dropping the knees down. Just loosening up those hips. We're going to come into a forward bend next. It's Ardha Kamasana we're going to do next. So when you're ready, bring the knees into the chest, then roll up to a seated position. And we're going to come into Japanese seated pose, so Vajrasana. So we're going to come into a forward bend with the focus on the knees and the ankles, okay? So we're really stretching through that area. So that's the focus today, is from hips down. But we're lengthening through the spine. So this one is one of these poses. We bring the hands up and reach up as high as we can. We'll just cross the thumbs, so palms together. Inhale and exhale, come forward. So it's like child's pose, but we've got the fingers on the floor, palms together, and dropping the head down towards the floor. So this again is lengthening the spine. So that's why I'm doing this one in comparison to child's pose. So we're lengthening the spine. How we're going to do the lengthening of the spine is continually slide those fingers forward on the inhale, and on the exhale, we bring the hips back to the heels. So it's just like traction, basically. So inhale, we reach forward. Exhale, we push the hips back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, hips back. So it's just a pose that lengthens the spine, so traction, what they call it in the West, but without those machines that they attach it to. I don't know if anyone's ever had it, but it's quite scary. You can do it yourself without having machines. So every now and again, you can just relax and then get back into it by reaching forward on an inhale, pushing the hips back on the exhale. Do that a few times, then just relax and go into it again by stretching forward. So just continually stretch forward and continually push the hips back. So here you're also getting a good stretch through the neck, through the shoulders. The main bit here is we're just opening up through that spine. You're always going to have trouble one way or the other in this pose. So if you're thinking, I can't do this because of that, that's quite normal. So sometimes you might be able to get your hips back to the heels, but make sure you stretch forward and work those hips back. Sometimes your hips will be on your heels, but you struggle to stretch forward. Make sure you're stretching forward and pushing the hips back. So it's the same wherever you are. You're just allowing that lower back to really, really open up on the pushing back to the hips. And then as you're stretching forward, that upper back, just releasing the tension in the middle back. So you're just opening up. And when you're ready, slowly come up. Use your strength if you can, by just bringing the arms up and then just dropping the hands down by the sides and coming into crocodile pose. So coming forward, bring the feet, the legs apart, toes out wide, heels in, stack the hands, drop the foot onto the hands and just relax. Beautiful. So a good minute in this pose. Just going to do a couple of quicker back bends after this, and then a couple of deep stretches to finish with. So when you're ready, bring the feet together. I'm just going to come into Sphinx pose. So just a minute in Sphinx. Elbows underneath the shoulders, palms on the floor, forearms on the floor. I'm going to bring the shoulder blades together. Really important to bring the shoulder blades together. Push the sternum up. Just hold there. We're not going to come into seal. We're just staying in this pose. Every now and again, my chest wants to drop down, so bring the shoulder blades together, lift. Keep pushing down through the forearms. Lift that chest up. 25 seconds to go, so come up as high as you can go. Stay as still as you can. Chest up a little bit higher. And then slowly come down. Just come into crocodile pose again, 20 seconds. And when you're ready, bring the feet together. Bring the hands out in front of you, so reach them out in front of you. So we're going to do Purnasarabhasana, but we're going to have the hands straight, so I've changed it into more of a Superman type pose. So when you're ready, just lift the arms off the floor, the chest and chin off the floor. So come up, chest and forehead off the floor. Come up, and then lift the legs up. So chin up, chest up, legs up. Get into the place where you can just hold. So just hold there. Work on the breath. The breath is going to speed up. So any back bend, we're going to speed the breath up. So slow the breath down, then bring the hands up a little bit higher. Chest up higher. Legs up higher. Hold there. So now bring the arms up, chest up, legs up, all together. Come up as high as you can, hold. Come up higher, hold, chin away from the chest, hold, and exhale, release. Bring the hands back down by the sides. Just drop the right cheek on the mat and hold there. Now bring the left cheek on the mat, hold there. Then just help yourself up. So help yourself up. We're going to come into a seated pose, seated position. What have we got? So we're going to move into seated gait. Okay, so I know a lot of you love this pose. We haven't done it for a while. So left leg out, right leg bend under. So bend the knees. 2 minutes in this pose. And so with this pose, you might need the strap. But what I suggest you do, if you just watch me at the moment. So if you're in the pose like this, so if you've got the strap and you're in the pose like this and you're all over the place, you're not going to get any benefit out of the pose. So work your way through this system. So if this is enough for you, stay here. Okay, so you're getting the stretch down the hamstring and everything's fine. But then work into this, the twist. So bring the right hand behind the body, left hand in front, lift and twist. If you want, you can bring your left hand to the right knee and twist. Now that might be enough for you. This is the full pose right here. The extension of the pose is here, where I drop down and bring the right hand over. Remember, that's an extension. It's not the pose, it's an extension. That's when if you're almost close, you can get the strap. Grab the strap. And come in this way, but you want your chest to face the ceiling. If you can't get your chest to face the ceiling, you're in it too early. So just remember the twist might be enough, like this. So come into the pose where you feel comfortable in. Yeah. And you'll know if you've gone too far, you're not going to get that twist in the hips and in the spine. Perfect. It's always good to listen to your body. If you try and get there too early, you're just going to lose the effect of the pose. So this is really working deep in the hamstring as well. So we're getting hamstring, but a really good twist in the spine is what we're after. So if you're sitting up in the position of the twist of the spine, you're still getting everything you need. when we come over the top, we're just getting more of a stretch down the right side. That's basically the difference. So another 50 seconds to go. Remember that breath, focus on the breath. Beautiful, well done. Really good poses there. You're in that awesome, Jules. Just drop that top shoulder back a little bit. That's it, just work your way slowly back. That's it, perfect. Good twisting, guys. Everyone's in that, got that really good twist. And when you're ready, slowly come out of the pose. Switching sides. So right leg out, so just maybe let that blood flow through the right knee. Bring the left knee under. Work your way in it. And get into the pose how you got in just then on that side, because everyone was in it perfectly. It was really good. So just work towards getting to that position again. So work through the system first. So make sure I'm comfortable here. If I'm comfortable there, right hand in front, left hand behind and twist. If I'm comfortable there, I'll bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee, twist a little bit more. So work on that twist. Then I can work down and over. But always in the last sort of 30 seconds, I usually tell you when there's 30 seconds to go. If you want to attempt the extension, just attempt it. And you might feel that wow, I'm getting closer, or you might feel no, I'm not ready yet. It's the last minute in this pose. Beautiful. You'll probably feel that one side is a lot tighter than the other. And it's just our normal daily life that causes that. So last 25 seconds, so if you wanted to go a little bit deeper, go a little bit deeper. If you're happy where you are, stay where you are. Just focus on the breath. Slowly, slowly come up out of the pose. Stretch both legs in front of you. And just give them a shake. Have the strap nearby. So nice shake, and then come into windshield wipers, so dropping right, left, left, right. So we're going to finish the class off with Paschimottanasana. So stretch the legs out. Grab the strap if you need the strap. Not suggest the strap until you can you can either grab the toes comfortably and hold, or grab around the feet and comfortably and hold. I'd use the strap all the time. And if your stomach doesn't touch the thighs, you need the strap until that happens. So both feet together, push the heels forward, pull on the strap as low as you can go. Shoulder blades together, chin up, chest up. So I'm feeling the stretch now through the hamstrings and then come forward. So bring that stomach towards the thighs. Doesn't matter how far you are away from the thighs with the stomach, just keep working towards it. That's your only job, is to bring that to the thighs. Once your stomach touches the thighs, you're going to get that tilt in the pelvis, which will allow you to push the heels further away from the body, bring the toes towards you. Once you've got that, then you look at the toes, grab the toes with your peace fingers and pull on the toes. Keep looking at the toes. Stomach on the thighs first. Really work hard on getting that stomach to the thighs. It's one of the deepest hamstring stretches you'll get. It's this one here. Not just that, we're opening through the shoulders, so the shoulders are rolling and opening. And stretching through the entire spine. Beautiful. Keep breathing. So work last pose, so work deep on that breath. Just keep working towards that spot where you need to work towards. Okay, so you should know now what your next step is and just work towards that step. If you break the poses down, they're not as hard. If you look at the full, you need to know where you're going, so you need to know what the pose looks like. But then you need to break it down in sections. It's the way you're going to get to the pose. That's the way you're going to get the best out of your body at the moment, so wherever you are. There's lots of people that struggle to bend forward, okay, so lots of people. So you've got about 50 seconds to go. So keep looking at your toes. Eventually, the crown of your head will touch your toes. I'm not far off them. My thumbs can touch. Keep working towards there. Last 20 seconds. When you're ready, slowly work up to a seated position and then come into Shavasana, final pose. Well done, everyone. You'll feel awesome today. Believe me, you'll feel absolutely brilliant after the sequence of those poses. You're going to feel lengthened, you're going to feel light, you're going to feel fantastic. So just allow that blood to flow through now. Just allow yourself to completely relax and just connect to the natural breath. So just your natural breath. to all really thank yourselves this morning. A lot of deep, deep stretches, and everyone's in the poses really well. Really, really good. And just know to yourself that you got into those poses the best you possibly could today. As I said, every day is different. Every day in yoga is different. So just a couple more minutes in Shavasana, just allow everything just to completely reset, relax. We're allowing the mind and the body to start connecting a little bit more or catching up with each other. When you're in Shavasana, just start focusing on one thing, and a real easy thing to focus on is the inhale through the nose to the breath. Once you do a couple of those, then you move to a different part of the body. So I like to move to the heart. So just start feeling the heart. Sometimes it takes a little while to allow yourself to feel that beat of the heart. You know it's beating, but allow yourself to connect to the sound and the feeling of the heart beating. Now you've got that beat, move down to the belly button, to the navel, and feel how the navel moves in and out, up and down, as the breath flows back through the nostrils. So go back up to the nostrils and feel that breath. Now do something random and go to the right big toe. Just feel the right big toe. Really focus and feel it. So if you can feel that right big toe and you can feel what's happening in that right big toe, that's meditation right there. Now come back up to the head and just feel where the back of the head lays on the mat, on the floor. Now just feel the nostril breath once more. Now the final thing to do here is to move into Chitta. Just roll the eyes upwards. Always try and do this at the end of Shavasana. See that dark space just above the eyes, just between the eyebrows, back of the forehead. Just see the shapes, colours, whatever's happening there, just take note. Feel how relaxed you are. And then release and relax the eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. Release the breath slowly. Then start wiggling the toes and the fingers. And as you do that, just give yourself some praise for getting here today, dedicating this time to yourself. And also gratitude, if you feel that's what you need to do, send a gratitude to someone or something in your life. And when you're done with that, roll to the side, have a breath, and then work your way up into Sukhasana, comfortable seated pose. Bring the hands into prayer position. And remember, the prayer position isn't to pray to anyone, it's to push the thumb into the middle of the chest and raise the chest up. Shoulder blades come together. That means you're in position. You're in the perfect position. So thank you so much for being here this morning and allow me to take you through the class. I know you're going to feel amazing today after the class. So I hope you all enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Namaste.